taking you through some of my stock and some of my snapdragons. They were all planted last year. I cut back the snapdragons and they are blooming beautifully now. Lots of buds coming up and stock is starting to bloom. By the way, these are all from seeds. And then what I'm trying to do right now is starting to plant my summer annuals. And if I don't plant them now, it will be too late for them to even get hold before our summer heat comes along. But that said, my winter pots are looking so beautiful now. You kind of have a heartbreak taking it apart. Just look at this. This has some creeping Jenny in the corner, but mainly kale, some snapdragons which are not blooming now, some dianthus, and some pansies. These are all my leftover pansies and one dianthus that I had that I just plugged into this pot. Kind of get a heartbreak taking those apart right now, but these 6 I do have to take them apart as soon as possible. But just look at this. But not all is for waste. I am going to plant these somewhere in the garden. I have a rose bed. I'm going to put it like in front of it. Just started pulling this apart, trying to get some soil along with it, and I'm going to transfer it to a different location. These are some of the pansies that I took from my pots that were doing really well, and I planted them there. And this area pretty much gets like, I would say, a little bit of morning sun. I'm going to plant some of the other pansies here. This is one of the pansies, which is, you can see how big it got. That said, I do not use biotone or any fertilizer in my winter pot. I do put biotone typically in my summer ones, but winter pots I just add some new compost, and I do not fertilize over the winter. They do get a little setback if we have a freeze, but it comes back right up. That's another plant. It gets humongously big considering it's just pansies. I have a clematis here. I think this is the diamond ball clematis. Clematis takes years to grow. This is its 3rd year. I have a lot of carrick. It's eversheen carricks. This is oak leaf hydrangea, but it's one of the smaller oak leaves. I have a bigger oak leaf hydrangea on one of my other beds called Ellen Half. Let me go and get some more dianthus now. This is what I did to my dianthus last night. So I planted them in front of my rose bush. This is mostly roses, and I have big hydrangea there at the back. Okay, so let me take you along what I'm doing to my hanging baskets. So hanging baskets, I actually start over. I completely throw out whatever was there from the previous year and I start with brand new soil. And the reason is that hanging baskets can only hold a very fixed small amount of soil. So whatever soil is in that basket has to count, has to be nutritious. So which is why, if you can see, like this is what I did. So, and I always put just one plant in each basket, and it fills up more than in a couple of months. It's completely full, and I will actually have to do some take a hedge trimmer and cut some back, literally. So this is a hanging basket I like. These are some of the ones I had used in the past. They are 12 inches. They're a little smaller. This one's 14 inches, and I like this one better. And I usually buy the fresh liners, which is, let me show you, like these. These are the ones, you can get these from Amazon, and these are like 14-inch liners. I would put in this 14-inch pot, and then I put in all fresh soil. I typically use garden soil. I don't and then top it off with some potting soil, but I do put biotone in the hanging baskets. I do fertilize my annuals every couple of weeks, but that's just me. It's not something that you have to do, but if you want like the flowers to keep coming and coming and coming throughout the season until late fall, I would advise you to fertilize every couple of weeks. They say every week. I usually do it every 2 weeks. For me, it's a little bit hard to keep up with every week fertilizing. Okay, so, and all I'm putting this year are jazzberries because that's all I have now, and then I'll have some extra left, and I'm going to plant it on either side of the waterfall. Okay, what else? I'll take you around and show you what I'm planting so far. This plant, I'm not touching. This pot, it looks so beautiful right now that I don't have the heart to break it apart. If I need to later on, I will, or if it all dies later, I'll have one less pot, and that's okay. I just cannot break this apart right now. This looks perfect. This one is done. Yeah, this one is all done. And then we'll use the bigger baskets. I used this basket by mistake, and I don't want it to stick out actually. That's what I was wondering. Why is it sticking out? So I'm going to take this and then try to take this apart and put it here. Oh yeah, now it's fitting perfectly nicely. And I can put some extra soil. This is all fresh soil from this year. And you can see, like, hanging baskets are like, you want the show to come all year from a very fixed amount of soil. Very different from what you do when you plant it in a big planter or you're putting it in the garden. Then they can actually reach the nutrients in the garden soil. But in this small tiny hanging basket, has to be good soil. Okay, I don't want to use this one. Okay, like this one is a used hanging basket, and all I'm going to do is, hang on, let me just get rid of this thing. That's all gone, including the liner. Most of the time, this is my experience, I have seen that it's hard to use an existing liner, and I don't even try to. Liners are not that expensive, so I usually get like brand new liners every year. And give me a second. These hanging baskets are going on their year 3. I don't know. If it gets really rusty, I might replace it, or I might replace the chain. Actually, the chain rusts more than the actual hanging basket itself. Okay, done. So okay, this one fits perfectly. Putting in new soil. Some more. Okay. Now, making a little hole in the center. There goes some biotone. Mixing it around with the neighboring soil. And there is the plant that's going to go. Kept some really good potting soil mixed with bone meal and biotone, some more biotone here that I am going to apply as a layer. Some more. Okay, and then top it off with some more of this soil. Okay, so done with 3 pots. Okay, so taking you around what was done today. Firstly, giving you a look at my peony, first bloom of the year. This is a Barzella Ito peony. Have tons of blooms all over. this is what I did. This is the only pot, the winter pot that I left unchanged. Of course it looks very full, but these are the ones that I planted. You know how they say you have to do a spiller, a thriller, and a filler? So this one doesn't have a spiller, but the thriller is the Clanchui or Clanchui, whatever it is. And then we have a Supertunia Jazzberry in front as the spiller. Over here, it's the very same. I also have a spiller here, which is this Creeping Jenny, and then 2 of the Supertunia Jazzberries here. This is a bed that has a hydrangea in there. This is Fairy Tale Bride hydrangea. I might put it somewhere else. It's not doing that great for me, but it's alive. It's producing new shoots. I can see new leaves coming out, but we'll look into it later. But I did put like some pansies in there over last fall as mostly like ground cover, I guess, and had an extra dianthus that I plugged in here. So I didn't touch this pot as well. That's really not a pot, but these are my summer pots. Let me show you. This one I had already showed you earlier, and this is how it looks. I kind of really like the silvery Dichondra Silver Falls with the blue or purpley blue and the Jazzberry color, and very same look on the other side. And then I have 3 hanging baskets which have exactly 1 Supertunia Jazzberry in them. So, and I know it looks sparse right now, but it is all going to fill up. And I have 2 more hanging baskets here along with this little frog. So there's one here and there's another one there. And then I have some planters here next to the waterfall. One has an ageratum. I couldn't take myself to pull out this dianthus that looks so gorgeous right now, and so we'll let it live for us however long it lives. But I did put in 1 jazzberry there as well. And on the other side I have this jazzberry. Right now I am not minding the little bit of shade it's in from this large leaves of this palm, but I'm going to pull it out more in front later. Oh, just in case you wanted to know, this yellowish thing is not weed. It's actually Brigadoon St. John's wort, and it spreads very nicely, has like lemony yellow color, and I don't mind that instead of weeds. Okay, and what else did I want to show you? Oh yeah, so I had a couple of extra jazzberries that I plugged in the front. I'll do a hydrangea bed review once the hydrangeas start leafing out. Nothing much going on here. Just plugged in some cauliflower and some dahlias in between. Once I harvest the cauliflowers and kale, it should be only dahlias. Hopefully they do better for me this year. Let me take you to my seedlings and show you how they are doing. This is what I wanted to show you. What is happening here? Watermelon is coming up. That's I can see. The okra is definitely out. Those are all okra, the first 2 trays. And then peppers just barely coming out. I can see a few. The watermelons are starting to come out. These are my amaranth and some lettuce that I'm going to take it outside now, and I'm going to plant these tomorrow. These seedlings are way beyond their prime, so they need to go in ground like now. Hope you all liked my video today. If you did, do hit a like and do subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.